Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Urdu Seekhiye. I'm your host, Shireen, and this is episode number 29. Before we dive in, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been downloading PDFs off of the Urdu Seekhiye website and paying more for it than I'm charging. Urdu Seekhiye is a project that I work on in my free time, and when someone supports it financially, it's a big deal. It tells me that others find this effort valuable too. In the previous episode, I called out a lot of names, and this time around, I'd like to say thank you to Austin R. Again, if you want to financially support Urdu Seekhiye, be sure to go to the website and download the PDFs. You can also go to urduseekhiye.com/donate if you want to make a one-time donation. Okay, so back to episode 29. Today, I'm joined by Ayesha, whom I met during an NLP training in Karachi. It was such an awesome experience, but I will talk more about that on another podcast entirely. Ayesha, would you like to say a few words about yourself and let our listeners know what today's dialogue will contain?
Sure. Assalamu alaikum, Shireen, and everyone. Excited to be on this podcast. And as Shireen said, we met at an NLP training, and she told me about Urdu Seekhiye, and I instantly loved it, and I wanted to be part of it. And so here I am with all of you here. Today's dialogue is a fun one. It's about two friends who are shopping at an expensive store. Let's see what happens with them.
Let's. So first, you'll hear Ayesha and me say the dialogue at a normal pace. The second time, we'll go ahead and slow it down. The third time, Ayesha will say all the Urdu lines and I'll provide the translation.
शिरीन अपनी दोस्त आयशा के साथ एक दुकान में है।
ये दुकान काफी महंगी है।
हाँ, वाह, ये लाल जैकेट जबरदस्त है।
आयशा?
मुझे ये रंग बेहद पसंद है।
आयशा?
मुझे तो ये जैकेट खरीदनी है।
आयशा?
क्या?
इस जैकेट की कीमत $500 है।
क्या?
तुम्हें नई जैकेट की जरूरत नहीं।
लेकिन शिरीन, आज मेरी सालगिरह है।
अच्छा?
और तुम मेरी सबसे जिगरी दोस्त हो।
ये तो है।
तो सबसे बेहतरीन तोहफा मेरे लिए है
एक सस्ती जैकेट।
शिरीन अपनी दोस्त आयशा के साथ एक दुकान में है।
ये दुकान काफी महंगी है।
हाँ, वाह, ये लाल जैकेट जबरदस्त है।
आयशा?
मुझे ये रंग बेहद पसंद है।
आयशा?
मुझे तो ये जैकेट खरीदनी है।
आयशा?
क्या?
इस जैकेट की कीमत $500 है।
क्या?
तुम्हें नई जैकेट की जरूरत नहीं।
लेकिन शिरीन, आज मेरी सालगिरह है।
अच्छा?
और तुम मेरी सबसे जिगरी दोस्त हो।
ये तो है।
तो सबसे बेहतरीन तोहफा मेरे लिए है
एक सस्ती जैकेट।
शिरीन अपनी दोस्त आयशा के साथ एक दुकान में है।
Shireen is at a store with her friend, Ayesha.
ये दुकान काफी महंगी है।
This store is pretty expensive.
हाँ,
Yes.
वाह, ये लाल जैकेट जबरदस्त है।
Wow, this red jacket is amazing.
मुझे ये रंग बेहद पसंद है।
I love this color.
मुझे तो ये जैकेट खरीदनी है।
I have to buy this jacket.
इस जैकेट की कीमत $500 है।
The price of this jacket is $500.
क्या?
What?
तुम्हें नई जैकेट की जरूरत नहीं।
You don't need a new jacket.
लेकिन शिरीन, आज मेरी सालगिरह है।
But Shireen, today is my birthday.
अच्छा?
Is that so?
और तुम मेरी सबसे जिगरी दोस्त हो।
And you are my best friend.
ये तो है। तो
That's true. And
तो सबसे बेहतरीन तोहफा मेरे लिए है
so the best gift for me is
एक सस्ती जैकेट.
a cheap jacket. Okay, now Ayesha and I will explain each line in more detail. So the first line was part of the narration. It was, Shireen apni dost Ayesha ke saath ek dukaan mein hai. This sentence is in the present tense. Let's begin by looking at the word apni. Apni, or apna, apne, means one's own. It could also mean his or her. So the narrator is speaking about someone else, about Shireen. He's saying that Shireen is with her friend, Ayesha, even though the literal translation is one's own. But it's better to understand apni, apna, or apne as his or her. The previous episode was on this very topic, possessive adjectives. But apni, apna, and apne never came up. If we were to use the chart from episode number 28 and use the her that's in the chart, then we could turn this sentence, Shireen apni dost Ayesha ke saath ek dukaan mein hai, into Shireen uski dost Ayesha ke saath ek dukaan mein hai. So apni becomes uski. But apni is definitely better in this case.
I agree, Shireen. Now let's give a few more examples of apni, apna, and apne, so we get a better sense of the context. For example, in the third person, if I want to say she likes her job, I could say उसे अपनी नौकरी पसंद है. उसे अपनी नौकरी पसंद है. Now, if we remove apni and replace it with the possessive adjective uski, then it becomes उसे उसकी नौकरी पसंद है. If we want to say he has his book, that would be उसके पास अपनी किताब है. उसके पास अपनी किताब है. Or we could say उसके पास उसकी किताब है. उसके पास उसकी किताब है. The reason both these sentences use apni and not apna or apne is because naukri and kitab are feminine singular nouns. Let's use a masculine noun, ghar, which means house. To say she is at her own home, we'd say वो अपने घर में है. We could also say वो उसके घर में है. The thing about वो उसके घर में है, however, is that it could also mean that she is at someone else's home. So, वो here means she. Uske could mean her own home or someone else's home. There's ambiguity in using uske. That's why it's best to say वो अपने घर में है. One more thing. Because ghar is masculine singular and because there's a postposition after ghar, mein, we use apne. And because we're talking about one person, she, the to be verb is hai and not hain.
Excellent. Yes. Let's see where we might use apna with a masculine noun. If you listen to episode 18, it tells you how when you speak of things that you like, then you should begin the sentence with the extended oblique case of pronouns. So to say she likes her house, we'd say उसे अपना घर पसंद है. उसे is the extended oblique case. Be sure to download the handout for the extended oblique case of pronouns to get more clarity on that. So we can replace apna in the sentence उसे अपना घर पसंद है. उसे अपना घर पसंद है, replacing it with उसे उसका घर पसंद है.
उसे उसका घर पसंद है.
Again, here, as Ayesha said, there is ambiguity, as it could mean that she likes another person's house and not her own. So it's best to use apna. Usse apna ghar pasand hai.
Okay, so let's quickly discuss a few more words from this sentence. Then move to the next line. Dost means friend. Ke saath means with. And dukaan means store or shop. So Shireen अपनी दोस्त आयशा के साथ एक दुकान में है means Shireen is at a store with her friend Ayesha. Now we have ये दुकान काफ़ी महंगी है. ये दुकान काफ़ी महंगी है. This means it's an expensive store to shop at. महंगा means expensive. The reason महंगा is conjugated to महंगी is because dukaan is feminine. Then I agree with Shireen and just say हाँ, which means yes. Then I say वाह, ये लाल जैकेट ज़बरदस्त है. Lal is a color. It means red. You may have heard the word zabardast before. It means amazing, awesome, fantastic, so on. And wah is one way to say wow.
Right. And at this point, I notice the price of this Zabardast jacket. So I call out her name, which she basically ignores. She then says, मुझे ये रंग बेहद पसंद है. मुझे ये रंग बेहद पसंद है. So the sentence structure, when you want to express that you like something in the present tense, is मुझे X पसंद है. But here, to express that she loves something, we added the word behad.
That's right. Had means limit. And when you add the prefix be in front of it, it means without. Behad means without limit. So when you like something without limit, it means that you love it. So if I want to say I love chocolates, I'd say मुझे चॉकलेट बेहद पसंद है. मुझे चॉकलेट बेहद पसंद है.
Do you really love chocolate, Ayesha?
Of course, Shireen, I do. Who doesn't?
I knew there was a reason I liked you. Okay, so now let's move to the next few lines. So I continue trying to get her attention and warn her about the cost of the jacket. To express that you want to do something, you can use this sentence structure. मुझे plus the noun plus the action verb, then the to be verb. So if I want to say, I want to eat popcorn, I'd say, मुझे popcorn खाना है. मुझे popcorn खाना है. Or if I want to eat in general, I'd say, मुझे खाना है. To say I want to talk to you, I'd say, मुझे आपसे बात करनी है. मुझे आपसे बात करनी है. To talk is बात करना. So now, if you notice, Ayesha says, मुझे तो ये jacket खरीदनी है. She adds the to in there to emphasize that she just has to have it. Let's see if it holds true for our example sentences. मुझे तो popcorn खाना है. मुझे तो खाना है. मुझे तो आपसे बात करनी है. I think it works. It seems like there may be other options available, but this one is being prioritized over all others. It means I just have to do it, or I just have to have it. When expressing such a sentiment, you'll need to emphasize मुझे तो. So it'll be like, मुझे तो ये jacket खरीदनी है. I just have to have this jacket. I want to buy it.
Goodness, there's so many subtleties embedded in our tone and words that we will never think of. Poor language learners.
I know, right? But with time, you start getting it. It's only a matter of time.
True. Okay, so the next two lines are easy. Again, Shireen says my name, and this time she gets my attention. I respond with kya, which means what? Then Shireen says, इस जैकेट की कीमत $500 है. इस जैकेट की कीमत $500 है. कीमत means price or cost. 500 means 500. So you can guess what इस जैकेट की कीमत $500 है might mean. It means the cost of this jacket is $500. Of course, then I'm also shocked. So I respond with kya?
Then I say, तुम्हें नई जैकेट की ज़रूरत नहीं. तुम्हें is the informal way of saying you, and तुम्हें is the extended oblique case of pronouns. Nai means new, and ज़रूरत means need. And often the word ज़रूरत has the word ki in front of it.
Right. So if I want to say I need love, I'd say मुझे मोहब्बत की ज़रूरत है.
Or to say I need medicine, I'd say मुझे दवाई की ज़रूरत है. So whatever you need goes first, then you add की ज़रूरत after it. So to say you don't need something, we add the word नहीं after the word ज़रूरत. So I say to Ayesha, you don't need a new jacket. In Urdu, that's तुम्हें नई जैकेट की ज़रूरत नहीं. To which she says, लेकिन शिरीन, आज मेरी सालगिरह है. Aj means today, and सालगिरह means birthday. लेकिन शिरीन, आज मेरी सालगिरह है means, but Shireen, today's my birthday.
To this she responds, Acha? In this context, this means, oh really? Or is that so? And then I say, और तुम मेरी सबसे जिगरी दोस्त हो. और तुम मेरी सबसे जिगरी दोस्त हो. सबसे means the most, and jigrī means the best. So, सबसे जिगरी together means the absolute best. Leaving सबसे out would mean the same thing, but adding सबसे places even more emphasis on the best. It's like saying bestest, even though that's not a word, but sometimes we use it. If you remember, the to be verb that goes with tum is ho. So that's why it's tum meri sabse jigri dost ho.
And I want to add a note about the word jigrī. Jigrī isn't a common word, but I often heard it in Urdu dramas. Jigrī was often paired with dost, but the more common way to say best friend is simply saying sabse achhi dost or sabse acha dost. So Ayesha could have said, aur tum meri sabse achhi dost ho. But if you were to use jigrī with an Urdu speaker, you'd definitely impress him. Okay, back to the dialogue. To the sentence, tum meri sabse jigri dost ho, I respond, ye to hai. To. Anytime you want to say, that's true, you can say, ye to hai, or wo to hai. And then I tack on, to. In this context, it means so. Like you might say, and, like, what's your point? So then Ayesha responds, तो सबसे बेहतरीन तोहफा मेरे लिए है. Again, we see सबसे, which means the ultimate or the most, the highest. बेहतरीन means amazing. It's used to describe things. So सबसे बेहतरीन means the most amazing. तोहफा means gift. So तो सबसे बेहतरीन तोहफा मेरे लिए है means, so the best gift for me is.
And before I could finish that sentence, Shireen interrupts with, एक सस्ती jacket. एक sastī jacket. The only new word in this phrase is sastī, which means cheap. And because jacket is a feminine noun, the adjective is conjugated to sastī. But if we had a masculine noun like ghar, then to say a cheap house, we'd say sastā ghar. I believe that brings us to the end of this episode.
You're right. As always, be sure to check out the page for episode 29. I plan to add additional items for this episode, such as quizzes, PDFs, and Notion templates. So be sure to check the Urdu Seekhe website from time to time. Also, be sure to subscribe to both the podcast and YouTube channel so you don't miss out on new content. Ayesha, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I hope we'll work together again soon.
You're most welcome, Shireen. It was a lot of fun. I'll gladly return.
Awesome. Well, that's all for now. Thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you in episode 30.
Khuda Hafiz.